history didn't forget the African Queen of Sheba by accident. She was remembered, then slowly turned into a myth, not because she wasn't real, but because her power didn't fit the story they wanted told. Ancient sources place the Kingdom of Sheba at one of the most valuable locations in the ancient world, right where African trade met Arabia, Asia, and the Mediterranean. This wasn't legend geography. This was economic strategy. Sheba's kingdom was a nerve center, a crossroads of continents. Think about it, a single point on the map controlling the flow of goods between Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. Ruling this territory wasn't about sitting on a throne. It was about managing a global hub. She held the key to the Red Sea, a vital artery of maritime trade. Her domain likely stretched from the Horn of Africa across the water into what is now Yemen. This strategic position gave her unprecedented influence. It meant that anyone who wanted to move valuable goods through this corridor had to deal with her kingdom. She was the gatekeeper to one of the most profitable trade networks on the planet. This wasn't just a kingdom, it was a commercial empire, and she was its CEO. The source of her power was tangible, valuable, and in high demand. Sheba controlled the trade of gold, frankincense, myrrh, and rare spices. Now, these weren't ordinary goods, they were luxury commodities, worth more than silver in many parts of the ancient world. Frankincense and myrrh were essential for religious rituals from Rome to Persia. The gold from Africa was legendary. Kings didn't just want these things, their economies, their temples, and their royal courts depended on them. And Africa controlled the supply. The caravans that crossed the deserts and the ships that sailed the seas were filled with a fortune, and all of it flowed through her domain. This economic control gave her immense leverage. She didn't need to conquer with armies. Her wealth was her weapon and her shield. When the African Queen of Sheba visited King Solomon, it wasn't romance. It was diplomacy. It was a high-stakes meeting between two regional superpowers. She didn't arrive empty-handed, seeking wisdom. She arrived with wealth so vast that ancient writers struggle to describe it. We're talking about tons of gold, precious stones, and spices carried by a massive caravan. This wasn't curiosity. This was a state visit. This was a meeting between powers. She was there to negotiate trade agreements, secure her roots, and assess her rival power. The story was later romanticized, but at its core, it was a summit between two rulers whose kingdoms were economic giants. Sheba came as an equal, a monarch with her own agenda and her own immense power. Her reputation wasn't built on wealth alone. She was known for her intelligence, her governance, and her statecraft. The ancient texts don't just talk about her riches, they mention her wisdom and the riddles she posed to Solomon, which was a common way of describing a battle of wits and intellect between rulers. That's why rulers listened. That's why her name survived when so many others didn't. In a world dominated by kings, she commanded respect not just because she was rich, but because she was smart. She understood politics, economics, and diplomacy. Her kingdom was likely a well-organized state, with a sophisticated administration needed to manage its complex trade networks. This combination of wealth and wisdom made her a truly formidable figure on the world stage. But over time, something changed as new empires rose and old narratives were rewritten. The story of the Queen of Sheba began to shift. Her political authority was turned into poetry. Her economic power became symbolism. A real, powerful African ruler was slowly and deliberately turned into a legend, a mythical figure in a romantic tale. Why? Because powerful African women who ruled in their own right were inconvenient to explain. They didn't fit the simplified, male-dominated histories that were being constructed. It was easier to make her a mysterious, exotic character than to acknowledge her as a strategic and political equal. This wasn't a mistake. It was a process of historical editing, softening the sharp edges of her power until the real woman was almost lost. But Sheba wasn't an exception. She was part of a long and powerful pattern. She represents a tradition of African systems that produced incredible wealth, magnificent cities, and global influence. Think of the kingdom of Kush and its capital, Meroë, with its pyramids and iron industry. Think of the libraries and universities of Timbuktu, which were centers of learning for the entire Islamic world. Think of Mansa Musa, the emperor of Mali, whose legendary wealth literally changed the economy of the Mediterranean on his pilgrimage to Mecca. The Queen of Sheba stands at the beginning of a long line of African rulers and civilizations that were deeply connected to the world and shaped it in profound ways. Long before colonization ever began, the Queen of Sheba represents something history has struggled to accept. Africa was wealthy, Africa was organized, and African women ruled. Her story is a testament to a past that was intentionally obscured. It challenges the long-held narratives of a dark continent waiting to be discovered. The truth is, Africa was a continent of great kingdoms, vast riches, and brilliant leaders. The Queen of Sheba isn't a fairy tale. She is a reminder of that powerful and often ignored reality. Her legacy isn't just about one woman. It's about the heritage of an entire continent. So they didn't erase her. They softened her.